wide receiver top 5.
Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, Deebo Samuel, and Jamar Chase.
I have Kupp, Jefferson, Diggs, Chase number 4, and Deebo 5th.
Oh, okay. How many carries are you expecting Deebo for this week? That's been interesting.
Let's see. I have Deebo at 3 carries.
Okay, same.
For you? Yeah.
Yep.
It's been trending down. It's been trending down.
But it's been leading to more receptions. So that's the trade-off.
Okay, who you high on?
I am high on Rondale Moore this week. He has a great matchup against the Seahawks. So I have him as my wide receiver 36 compared to the consensus of wide receiver 45. And he's been seeing a ton of playing time, 94% routes run in his debut last, week 4, 91% last week. And he should command, an 18 to 20% target rate. As long as DeAndre Hopkins is out for at least one more game. And, he's good for 1 or 2 rush attempts per game. So I think he has a really high floor for, a low end wide receiver 3 flex option this week. So love him based on this matchup. I think against the Seahawks, this is the perfect setup for him. And this will be the week to play him because, like I said, Hopkins is returning next game. So if you have Rondale Moore, use him this week. And then I got to stick with Adam Thielen. He's my wide receiver 21. The consensus is still just wide receiver 29 right now, but I like this matchup against the Dolphins. Despite having a good secondary, they rank dead last in DVOA against the pass. And Thielen, he's established himself as a solid floor sort of wide receiver 2 right now with his underlying usage. Last week, ran around on 100% of Kirk Cousins dropbacks. So right now, I think we can pencil him in for 4.5 to 5 receptions a game with this underlying usage. And he's only scored 1 touchdown so far. So again, he's due for some positive touchdown regression. We have yet to really see his ceiling yet. So I'm still treating him as a low end wide receiver 2.
Yeah, Thielen, it's been a struggle because I have him, I think, wide receiver 22 as well. But it's just he hasn't had like a blow up game, but the underlying usage that you mentioned is coming. It's there. I actually have Rondale Moore as wide receiver 24. So I am plus 10 on your plus 9.
Wow.
So the thing about Rondale Moore, the narrative coming into the year was he's going to be used more downfield, right? Well, hasn't happened. His average depth of target is 5.4. But what does that do? When you have an average depth of target that low, it means you're going to catch a very high percentage of your passes. And he's also, like you said, running a route over 90% of the time and getting targeted a decent amount, 18%. So, I have him projected for 5 catches, a little over 5 catches, only just around 50 yards, but we're talking half PPR, full PPR here. And in a game where the Cardinals, it's the second highest total? Yeah, the second highest total.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals have the second highest implied total on the slate at 26.75 points. So this is a game where his touchdown projection is going to be higher than usual. And projected him for about 5 scores. And who knows, maybe Marquise Brown runs into Tariq Woolen, who's just been balling out for the Seahawks this year. I like everything about Rondale. And besides, you can usually bank on a rush attempt from Rondale as well. He's got one in both of his active games so far. So I have him only projected for a half a rush attempt, but I have him for 5.5 catches, 50 yards, and 0.36 touchdowns. So.
And I haven't thought about it yet, but with James Conner and Darrell Williams, very iffy to suit up this week. If they're both out, we might end up projecting Rondale for a few carries, right? We could definitely use him as more of a Deebo role. We'll see if Cliff Kingsbury can figure that out. But I think I didn't even think of that. If those running backs are out, his projection will definitely go up.
Yeah, Rondale Moore, Devin Duvernay are like the poor man's Deebo Samuel.
Yep.
If only it was Elijah Moore. All right, for me, so Rondale Moore was one, and then got to go with my dude Gabe Davis, our guy.
Yeah.
2 of the most amazing plays. One of them was all Josh Allen, but the first one, how about a 3rd and 10? What was it? 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10 from the 2-yard line. Josh Allen just lets it. Gabe Davis just beats double coverage off the ball.
Diggs was wide open 20 yards down the field.
Yeah.
Josh Allen said, screw that.
Right. But how do you beat 2 people off the ball on a 3rd and 10 from the 2. Like he just split the double, ran right by one over this past the corner, past the safety, 98 yard, and then gets to like a 60-yarder where he catches it with one hand.
Wait, are you giving that one to Josh Allen or
no?
Davis?
I'm saying no. The first one I give both of them actually to Davis, but I said the first one was a great Allen throw too. The second one was just like Davis one hands it. The defender has like almost every receiver gets that ripped away. You catch it with one hand and the defender is using 2 hands, somehow manages to rip it away. So now he's up to 2 catches for 160 and 2 touchdowns on a day. And let's remember, last game against the Chiefs, 8 catches, 201 yards, 4 touchdowns on 10 targets. So I have him wide receiver 15. He's wide receiver 19 in consensus. I might end up even higher depending on what happens, throughout the week. But really love Gabe Davis this week.
Yeah, you got to wear that shirt on Me this week.
I did order some new ones, so hopefully we'll see if it comes.
No, but that's the OG one. But I'm right there. I'm right there with you. I can't let you be on an island with Gabe Davis being over consensus. I'm right there with you at wide receiver 15.
Yeah.
Just massive ceiling. And Minka Fitzpatrick, if that's any other receiver, probably gets an interception there.
Yep.
So that was all Gabe Davis on that catch, in my opinion.
Yeah, and he's healthy because remember half of the year he was kind of banged up, and he's still 14th in receiving yards per game despite playing probably half of his games banged up. So Gabe.
That was a question I got on Twitter. My apologies if I didn't get to answer, but somebody asked are you concerned about that slow stretch he just had? But he was hurt, right? He came back from the ankle injury, maybe a little bit too soon, but I gave him cut him some slack for the past couple weeks. But the underlying usage is there, and Josh Allen just loves YOLOing it to Gabe Davis. That's exactly what we wanted with him. He's a downfield threat, sort of a red zone weapon. So that's why we drafted him where we did. He just has a massive ceiling. So I forgave him those couple rough games in week 3 and week 4.
Yeah, he's out here mossing dudes. Shit, who you low on?
I am low on, unfortunately, Drake London. Again, my favorite rookie receiver this year, but this is a tough spot facing this Niners defense. So he's my wide receiver 32 to open the week versus the consensus has him wide receiver 25. Plus, it looks like he picked up a knee injury last week. I don't know if it's serious, but obviously something we have to monitor. He might not be 100%, which would be absolutely necessary to, be able to put up a good game against this stingy Niners defense. So I'm low on Drake London, and I'm also low on Tyler Boyd. I have him as my wide receiver 45, but consensus is still treating him, as a low end wide receiver 3. They have him wide receiver 38 right now. But he was fairly quiet last week, caught 3 balls for 32 yards, even though T. Higgins was essentially out that game. And it looks like, I think Hayden Hurst is really starting to eat into what, Tyler Boyd's role. So I think we're going to have to monitor that going forward. But as of now, I'm pretty low on Boyd, and I consider more of a, wide receiver 50 option than the sneaky low end wide receiver 3 we're used to, just because of Hayden Hurst's emergence.
Yeah, I wonder if people must be, maybe they're expecting T. Higgins to miss the game. I mean, I kind of adjusted for that. And I have him wide receiver 45 as well. 3.5 catches for 45 for Boyd with 0.27 touchdowns. And I think the reason we're probably both low on Boyd is his targets per route is 11%. That is not good. You want to get, at least to 18 is around week average, 18 and a half. You want to get at least to, there if you're talking about a top, 40, 50 guy. And then Hayden Hurst, to your point, not great, but it's 16. So it's and then Mixon's is 20. So it's Boyd is literally the 5th option unless Higgins is out, but he's still the 4th option. And, that's just not going to cut it at this point, especially for a guy who's a slot receiver. So it's his average at the target is not going to be massively high. I think it's, let's see what it is this year. Yeah, 10.7, which is pretty average. So not loving Boyd either. I am low on, I feel like I'm saying this every week, but Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore is my wide receiver 58, and he's still the consensus wide receiver 39. So people are still kind of viewing him as on that fringe start sit in deeper leagues and 12 team leagues where you start 3 receivers in a flex. I don't think you should start this dude at this point with Zach Wilson. Actually, no, let's do it the other way. Without Zach Wilson, here's Elijah Moore's career receiving numbers without Zach Wilson. Every other quarterback, Flacco, White, all of them combined. 64% completions, 8.5 yards per target, 13.2 yards per reception, and a 7.1% touchdown rate, which is touchdowns into targets. And then with Zach Wilson, 46% completion rate, 5.3 yards per target, 11.6 yards per catch, and a touchdown rate of 2%. So he's dropping 18% in catch rate. He's dropping over 3 yards in yards per target. He's dropping over 1.5 yards in yards per reception, and he's dropping over 5% in touchdowns per target. I mean, and he has the biggest sample with Zach Wilson. So it's very concerning. And Corey Davis actually led the Jets in routes run last week. So Moore actually dipped under 80% for the first time all year. So I still have them, all three of the Jets top receivers around 85% routes run, but I just think we can't trust Moore until we see some kind of chemistry with Zach Wilson. I actually have Davis ahead of Moore this week as well. I have Moore only projected for 3 catches for 38 yards. So
yeah,
not gonna get it done.
It's been rough as a Elijah Moore stan. I think you are right though. His stretch last year where he was the wide receiver 2 from weeks 8 through 13, that a lot of that had to do with Flacco, Mike White, even Josh Johnson.
Yeah.
Former XFL or USFL, whichever league legend. But yeah, it's more of a positive. Like, I'm still high on Elijah Moore, but certainly there's something off there with the chemistry between he and Zach Wilson. So hate to see it, but he's finally outside my top 40. I'm finally on the same path as you. Although I will say 50, what do you have him at? 58? Yeah, I'm not quite there yet, but you have been ahead of the curve there. So I might have to, lower him a bit more. But yeah, this is not good for Elijah Moore.
I mean, I think it's because it was like one of the few things we're usually not way off, but I think I was like 30 yards under your Zach Wilson passing line last week or something. Like, I think you said you had him at like 250 and I had him at like 220 or something. So I have him 223 for this week. So that might be doing it.
Yeah, I think that brings me back to my favorite Abraham Lincoln quote: "Never judge somebody by their Tuesday morning player projections." I was very high on Zach Wilson to begin the week. I had 255 passing yards, but later in the week I had some sense knocked into me and I was closer to 230.
Okay.
But yeah, certainly early in the week I was very, very bullish on the Jets passing attack. But sanity has prevailed since then.
Hey, give yourself some credit. You had some great calls about early in the week last week. I think what was it? Breece Hall.
Breece Hall, baby.
It was a couple of dudes you like Ramondre. I mean, we both, but yeah, like great calls, like way ahead.
And the
of the
only
curve.
thing I got right on convinced me, other than the Bengals plus 3.5, was Taysom Hill had the highest ceiling of any tight end. Everything else I got wrong, but Taysom Hill, we'll get to him later.
Oh yeah. Receiving prop though, we're going with Drake London here, and this is a tough one for me because I'm actually lower than you in ranking to open the week. I have him wide receiver 37, but remember the 49ers did lose top corner Emmanuel Mosley to a torn ACL, and they also likely will be without Nick Bosa and Jimmy Ward. So this is still a good defense, but it's not the same defense that it's been, over the first 5 games of the year. However, that being said, for anyone that's not quite following, Drake London's route participation dipped to 68% last week. So that's why we're kind of, need to nail down this projection.
Yeah.
I'm going to set the receiving line for yardage at 46.5.
I wrote down 48.5. Damn it. I will go with over. Bet on talent. There's 2 variables at play here.
Okay.
The first one is we don't know if Kyle Pitts is playing or not. The second is, what the hell is your projection for Marcus Mariota passing yards? I think that is the critical variable here, because I am pretty low. Not quite Justin Fields low, but I'm at 170 right now.
Whoa, yeah, I got a 199. So not that well, not that well. But it's funny because
how much I love Drake London.
Yeah, because I'm saying so you have him projected for a much larger percentage of the receiving. What do you have him projected for routes run?
That is a great question.
I have him at 82.5%.
That is a very particular projection.
I do in 2.5
85
intervals.
flat.
Okay, yeah, so around the same.
I do love when what game was that where we were posting on Twitter our routes run?
The
like,
Broncos Saubert, yeah.
Somebody said I would love to learn how you guys do these. Well, we're talking about it right now.
Yeah.
Right. This is exactly what we're doing. So we're projecting the routes run. You know how many targets we're expecting them to see on those routes run.
Yep.
And then a few other things, but that is the bare bones of what we're doing here.
Yeah, and the reason I do it in like 2.5% intervals is because the average team will have just about 40 dropbacks, a little under per game, and 1 into 40 is about 2.5%. So it's like it's like essentially anytime I increase it by 2.5, it's like essentially me increasing it by 1 route. So that's instead of doing it like by like 84, 85, or 5 is a little much for me because then it's like it could get, it's a little more variant. Yeah, I try to do it by 2.5s. For the most part.
I just rounded the nearest whole number. So I have 85% for him. Like Zacchaeus, I have 68%. So I'm getting particular.
Yeah.
But just not down to the 0.5 like you.
Yeah.
But that makes sense when you describe it that way.
Yeah, I have Zacchaeus at 60. I'm just using them their season long for like the other guys because it's like the Giants out here. It's like you should never know.
God, nobody is quite like the Giants.